Okay, guys, let's talk about who's the best number one pick of the past 12 years since 2000, the millennium. Is it Derrick Rose? Of course, the former NBA MVP. I'm not sure. Let's discuss it. Let's think about it. I'm Paul Grossier from the Best Sports Blog, and this is Loki the dog. The puppy doesn't like to be left alone, so he's going to be part of the discussion. So where exactly does Rose rank? He's obviously the former MVP, and even though he's injured, he's going to come back very strong. So clearly he's got to be up there. He's a spectacular player, multiple All-Star, been to the Eastern Conference Finals, and could have come close to a title this year if he hadn't gotten injured. So he's definitely up there. Clearly outranks the busts of all time, Kwame Brown, and then also the medium players who never quite lived up to their expectations. That'd be Andrew Bogut, the Bucks center, who definitely suffered from injuries as well. Andrea Bargnani, the Toronto center, who was really an offensive player who never quite learned that the ball also included defense and that you needed to play both sides of the court. And Kenyon Martin from 2000, who was always a pretty good player and had some good defensive heights, but never really reached the pinnacle. Rose also definitely outranks his really recent compatriots, who some of whom have been very good, but haven't quite reached the level that he has. Blake Griffin is a multiple-time All-Star for the Clippers at power forward, but he's really a highlight reel guy, and he's now the second fiddle on his team to Chris Paul, whereas Rose is the leader of the Bulls and has led them further in the playoffs, and Griffin has the Clippers, and he's also a former NBA MVP. So it's pretty clear that Rose outranks him. Rose also clearly outranks John Wall, the 2010 pick for the Washington Wizards, who is a good player but has been quite erratic and has not shown leadership and has not taken the Wizards anywhere just yet. And Kyrie Irving, who was exceptional this year, all-star level player for the Cavaliers, definitely a franchise changer for them. Irving is still not quite at Rose's level. He's actually ahead of Rose's learning curve after his first season, but Rose took a huge jump in his second season under Coach Vinny Del Negro, and then of course won the MVP in his third season. So Kyrie Irving has something of a long way to go for that. It's really interesting to think about where Rose ranks when compared to Yao Ming. Yao Ming, of course, was the Chinese sensation, came over in 2002, and he definitely lived up to his billing. Yao is one of my favorite players, one of the favorite players of a lot of NBA fans. He reached 7 All-Star games. He was a class act, and he was really, really a great player. However, he did not go past the first round of the NBA playoffs every year except one where he was quite injured, and he also ended his career very early and never won the NBA MVP. He was a very consistent player, but he never truly elevated his game to the next level. So, in terms of career longevity and career achievements, Yao is still ahead of Rose, but Rose has actually been much more spectacular and won the NBA MVP as the youngest MVP in league history at age 22. So that's really a toss-up. The guys Rose clearly ranks behind, of course, are LeBron James from 2003 and Dwight Howard from 2004. LeBron, of course, just won his title to go with his 3 MVP awards, and even people who weren't huge fans of him for a long time really have to acknowledge the fact that he's definitely in that territory of the all-time pantheon. He's clearly, as Bill Simmons would say, in the pantheon and one of the top 10 players of all time now. He's reaching that territory where Shaq and Tim Duncan reside. Multiple titles for Shaq and Duncan. Shaq had 1 MVP. LeBron has multiple MVPs and 1 title. But considering how old he is, he'll probably win at least 1 more, which even most of his detractors would admit. Dwight Howard does not have a title, but he did reach the finals. He's won the Defensive Player of the Year award multiple times, and he also is clearly the most dominant center in the league and one of the most dominant defensive players in the past 30 years, and just a special contribution to a team. So Dwight clearly outranks Rose as well at this time. So Rose right now is 3rd, maybe 4th, depending on how you judge it. But over his career, if Rose ends up dominating Dwight in the East and wins multiple rings as the leader of a strong Bulls team, then he could eclipse both Yao Ming and Dwight Howard at some point. It's really hard to see him eclipsing James, though, considering James's career achievements and also his regular season plus playoff moments. But you never know. So for the moment, Rose is 4th, maybe 3rd, could one day become 2nd since 2000, which is pretty impressive considering the picks to have come out in the last 12 years. But compared to LeBron James, Rose will probably be 2nd for a long time. Would love to hear your thoughts. Definitely share them. And also check out the article on Bleacher Report of this subject. Thank you.